Former President Donald Trump embarked on a whirlwind tour of the Middle East from May 14 to 17, 2025. His itinerary included visits to three key Gulf states, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. This trip marked Trump's first major foray onto the global stage since leaving office. It came at a time of heightened tensions in the region, with ongoing conflicts and shifting geopolitical alliances. Trump's visit was met with a level of pomp and ceremony rarely seen in international diplomacy. Each country rolled out the red carpet, eager to court the former president and secure his favor. From lavish state dinners to extravagant displays of wealth, no expense was spared in showcasing the warmth of their welcome. Behind the opulent facade, however, lay a web of complex geopolitical and economic calculations. The Gulf states, long-standing allies of the United States, were eager to strengthen ties with the Trump administration. They saw in Trump a transactional leader, someone they could do business with, someone who understood the language of deals. Trump, for his part, seemed to relish the attention and adulation. Away from the political storms brewing at home, he was feted as a conquering hero, a master dealmaker. This trip was more than just a series of photo opportunities. It was a chance for Trump to reassert himself on the world stage, to remind everyone that he was still a force to be reckoned with. Trump's first stop was Saudi Arabia, a country with which he had forged a close relationship during his presidency. Upon his arrival in Riyadh, he was greeted with extraordinary fanfare. Breaking with protocol, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman himself was present on the tarmac to welcome Trump. The Saudis spared no expense in demonstrating their affinity for the former president. Trump was treated to a lavish state banquet, attended by members of the royal family and other high-ranking officials. The centerpiece of the visit was a U.S.-Saudi investment summit held at the opulent Ritz-Carlton Riyadh. At the summit, Trump basked in the adulation of Saudi business elites, who gave him a standing ovation. The former president, clearly energized by the reception, boasted about the strength of the U.S.-Saudi relationship and the billions of dollars in deals being struck. Among the most significant agreements was a $600 billion Saudi investment in the United States, touted as a sign of the kingdom's commitment to strengthening economic ties. However, the highlight of the Saudi leg of the trip was a record-breaking $142 billion arms deal. This agreement, the largest of its kind in history, underscored the close security cooperation between the two countries. It also served as a reminder of the Trump administration's willingness to prioritize arms sales, even in the face of concerns about human rights abuses. From Saudi Arabia, Trump traveled to Qatar, another key U.S. ally in the Gulf. If the Saudis had gone all out to impress, the Qataris were not to be outdone. Trump was met with a spectacle that could only be described as surreal. His motorcade, a curious mix of American muscle and Arabian tradition, included a fleet of Tesla Cybertrucks alongside horses and a camel parade. The sight of these futuristic vehicles navigating the streets of Doha, flanked by camels adorned in colorful regalia, was a testament to the unique blend of modernity and tradition that defines Qatar. The economic component of Trump's visit to Qatar was no less impressive. The two countries announced a staggering $1.2 trillion economic exchange encompassing a wide range of sectors. This included a massive order for 210 Boeing jets, a boon for the American aerospace giant. In a move that raised eyebrows, Qatar also presented Trump with a personal gift, a $400 million Boeing 747. This extravagant gesture, while undoubtedly intended to curry favor, immediately sparked questions about potential violations of the Emoluments Clause, which prohibits U.S. presidents from accepting gifts from foreign governments. Section 4. UAE's highest honor and billion-dollar deals. Trump's final stop was the United Arab Emirates, a federation of 7 emirates known for its towering skyscrapers, opulent shopping malls, and ambitious development projects. The UAE, eager to showcase its own close relationship with the former president, pulled out all the stops. Trump was awarded the Order of Zayed, the UAE's highest civilian honor, in a ceremony marked by extravagance. The event featured red and lavender carpets, horses, camels, and traditional sword dancers, a testament to the UAE's penchant for grandeur. The Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, displayed a giant U.S. flag in honor of Trump's visit. Beyond the pomp and ceremony, the UAE also announced a substantial $1.4 trillion 10-year investment framework with the United States. This agreement, spanning multiple sectors, was a clear indication of the UAE's desire to deepen economic ties and secure access to American technology and expertise. Trump also visited the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, the largest mosque in the UAE, and a stunning example of Islamic architecture. His visit, carefully orchestrated for maximum symbolic impact, was intended to highlight the importance of interfaith dialogue and understanding. Section 5. Cementing ties, the strategic significance. Trump's Middle East tour was about more than just striking deals and showcasing American economic might. It was also a strategic move, aimed at reaffirming U.S. influence in a region grappling with uncertainty and change. The Gulf states, long-standing U.S. allies, have grown increasingly wary of what they perceive as America's waning commitment to the region. The Obama administration's nuclear deal with Iran, seen by many in the Gulf as a sign of U.S. appeasement towards Tehran, had caused particular concern. Trump's visit, with its focus on strengthening bilateral ties and countering Iranian influence, was seen as a welcome reassurance. The Gulf states were eager to secure their place as key partners in a new world order, one in which the United States was seen as a more transactional and less ideologically driven actor. The arms deals in particular were seen as a sign of the Trump administration's willingness to stand by its allies in a dangerous neighborhood. For the Gulf states, these deals were about more than just acquiring weapons. They were about securing a security guarantee from the world's only superpower. Section 6. A Sea of Investments, the Economic Impact. The sheer scale of the economic agreements announced during Trump's trip was staggering. Trillions of dollars in investments were pledged, spanning a wide range of sectors, from energy and infrastructure to technology and defense. These deals, if fully realized, could have a transformative impact on the U.S. economy, creating jobs and boosting growth. They also underscored the growing economic clout of the Gulf states, which are increasingly looking to diversify their economies and invest their vast oil wealth abroad. However, some analysts expressed skepticism about the feasibility of these investments. They argued that low oil prices, geopolitical instability, and the Trump administration's unpredictable foreign policy could all undermine the deals. Moreover, critics pointed out that many of these agreements were non-binding memorandums of understanding rather than legally binding contracts. They argued that Trump was more interested in generating positive headlines than in securing concrete economic benefits for the United States. Section 7. Trump's Triumph, a World Away from Home. For Trump, the Middle East trip was an unqualified success. He was feted as a hero, showered with praise and adulation. The lavish receptions, the extravagant gifts, the fawning media coverage, it was all a far cry from the political storms brewing back home. Trump seemed to revel in the attention, basking in the glow of international diplomacy. He boasted about his deal-making prowess, touting the billions of dollars in investments he had secured. "The last 4 days have been really amazing," he told reporters. "Nobody's treated like that. Nobody's treated well like that." The trip provided a much-needed boost to Trump's ego, a reminder that he was still a force to be reckoned with on the world stage. It also allowed him to project an image of strength and leadership, in stark contrast to the chaos and dysfunction that often characterized his administration. For a few brief days, Trump was able to escape the relentless scrutiny of the American media and the political battles that had consumed his presidency. In the opulent palaces of the Gulf, surrounded by admirers, he could almost convince himself that he was still the most powerful man in the world.